Check out my luxury purchase. I just bought this today in a metal cup, wherever that thing went. Yeah, now I can heat up soup and warm up coffee, boil water for top ramen or whatever. And anyways, I've traveled quite a bit without a stove, and I don't know. Now that I have the bike, I want to. The whole goal, since I live like this all the time, every day, year round, I want to be comfortable. I want to have a tent. I want to have a sleeping bag, a stove. You know, I want to have everything I need and be able to go wherever I want and not cost an arm and a leg to get there. That's the whole idea behind. But this setup, this what I really want to talk about is this bike. People think it looks goofy or whatever. It seems kind of stupid to be traveling around on a grown man on a bicycle, but honestly, I've tried like the insurance on my van when I lived in a van was like it was like $87 a month, you know? And a long time ago it used to only be like $40 a month, but then I don't know, I can't remember what happened. I think I didn't have a vehicle for a few years, and then when I went back to it, when I bought I traveled around on that motorcycle for a few years, and then I didn't have a vehicle for a couple years, and then when I went and bought a van again, my insurance like doubled, and the gas is a lot more expensive, and you got to buy tires and maintenance and oil changes and all that kind of stuff. That stuff really adds up. The insurance was $75 for the whole year, so that's a lot cheaper and better on gas mileage, but I don't know. I lost a few different motorcycles because I broke down. Like one time I was in California, I had this old Honda. It was an old one, it had a lot of miles on it, and I didn't pay that much for it. I think I paid like 800 bucks, maybe 1,000, but I rode that thing all over the place. I rode to Arkansas, I went to Oregon, I went to Kansas, Missouri, Oklahoma, hung out there. Anyways, I was in California and I was riding along, and all of a sudden, I heard like a poof, you know, like a release of pressure, and the back tire locked up like instantly. And so I pulled in the clutch as fast as I could and got over to the shoulder, and I stopped, and there was oil dripping down and oil dripping all over the road. I looked, there was a hole about this big in the front of the motor, and I lost, and that really sucks every time that happens, because like how much can you carry if you have to start walking? You leave behind your helmet, you leave behind whatever tools you had. I had like 30 bucks in my pocket, and I had no job, I had no money. There was like, I was way out in the middle of I was in Northern California at the time. I didn't know anybody around. So I just grabbed what I could and started walking. I've lost two Hondas and a Yamaha that way. But anyways, and then this other this the most recent Honda, somebody was like putting sand in the motor oil. People were, I've had a problem a lot in the past with people vandalizing stuff, breaking stuff, causing problems. That's the thing. It's like every time that happens, it just costs a fortune. At least with this thing, with this setup, if your motor seizes up, if you lose compression, whatever, if all else fails, if the whole motor explodes, right? I mean, not literally, but it costs 130 bucks. I can come up with 130 bucks. That's the thing is, if it costs 130 bucks, you can buy a whole new motor, everything you need for 130 bucks. That's, and the thing is, if the motor breaks down, all you got to do is disconnect the chain and just disconnect the motor and start pedaling. You still have a bike. So that's what I love about this setup. You're not total. You got a plan A and a plan B all in the same bike. Most of the time the motor does all the work for you. You don't even have to pedal the thing except to get started. And the first thing in the morning you got to start the motor, get it warmed up. But for the most part, you barely have to pedal at all. Even if you're going up a big hill, like the motor still does most of the work. It's if you're going up a big hill and it bogs down, you have to help the motor, but you can just put it in a higher gear, And that's the cool thing about this bike is it's a cruiser, so it's big. The frame is like perfect for the motor, but it's also a 7 speed, so you can put it in first gear if you're trying to start your bike in the morning, or you can put it in a higher gear if you're just trying to help it up a hill. But even when the motor bogs down, the motor still does most of the work, and you only have to do half as much effort when you're pedaling, you know. So that's the cool thing about this. And like I said, if you ever have engine problems, you just disconnect the chain and you can still pedal off the highway or get back to town or get up to the next town or whatever. Get up to the post office or get to Walmart or get to the bike shop, and you know, you're not totally stranded. Because I've had quite a few times. There was quite a few times on a motorcycle where I was just completely stranded. You know, sometimes like when I was in Arkansas, the second or the third time when I was in Arkansas, there's a really cool motorcycle shop right there in Eureka Springs. That guy's really cool. They did me a solid when I was there. I ordered a my chain was really stretched from putting so many miles on that bike, and I ended up buying a new chain, and I think about a couple other little parts. I can't even remember what they were. It was so long ago, but and the guy was really cool about it. He let me bring my bike right up in his shop, because and I threw it up on his stand, and he let me use his tools, and that guy was really cool. But anyways, but there was, it's nice when you can buy the parts ahead of time before you're stranded. But I've just had too many times when I was totally stranded, like way out in the middle of nowhere, and I've had to walk like for days to get back to. That's happened. That's a true story. But at least with this way, you're not totally stranded. You can get out of there. That's why. But with the motor, I can carry enough stuff that I got my tent, I got my sleeping bag, I can even carry a stove. You're not gonna carry a stove with you if you're hitchhiking. You know what I mean? If you're hopping freight trains, you're not gonna have a tent and a stove, and I got a tent and a hammock, you know, and an extra blanket. There's a lot of things that I wouldn't be able to have if I wasn't on a bike, and a lot of things I wouldn't want to carry if I didn't have a motor either, too. So, but my trailer's blue. The one thing I would really like to upgrade in the near future, or not right away, but someday, these buckets, they work good. I got them for free. They look stupid though, and the basket's brown. I got brown, gray, silver, white, blue with the trailer. I want to put, and I don't like this kind of rack. I don't know. I might keep the rack actually just to save some money. But someday I want to put a front rack on there, and I want to get a set of blue panniers, front panniers and back panniers. I want to have a matching set, two in the back, two in the front, and it'll be blue, blue, and a blue trailer. That way, that way at least it looks somewhat decent. But yeah, someday, not right away, and I can't afford it right now or probably anytime soon. But one of these days, I do want to do that. Other than that, though, I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled. I mean, I've got like everything I need. I got my tools, I got my tent, I got my sleeping bag, an extra blanket. I've even got a tarp. I've even got a battery bank. This is the Anchor, which is a really good brand when it comes to these things. You charge it up, and then you can charge your phone like 5 or 6 times with that thing. If you're on your phone a lot, you know, you just keep it plugged in, and you can use it for quite a long time as long as it's plugged in. But yeah, that thing really makes life a lot better, because there's sometimes I want to plug that thing in and go back to whatever I was doing. Like if there's an outlet that works behind a church or behind somewhere that nobody goes, I want to plug it in and then go back to what I was doing. I don't want to sit there all day waiting on my phone to charge, but I don't want to leave my phone unattended either. I've had a problem in the past with people taking my phone if I set it down, or if I at nighttime while I'm sleeping. I've had a problem with people messing with my phone at nighttime while I'm sleeping. And God only knows what they're doing with it. They could be texting people, they could be sending messages and telling people that it was me. I mean, I don't know what they're doing. And there's been times that when I knew that they were doing it too. I'd go to bed with my I'd have I'd have 87% battery on my phone when I go to sleep, wake up at 32%. You know what I mean? And who knows what they were doing with it. So I mean, they could be framing you. They could be texting some underage girl and then going around town telling everybody it was you or something. You know, that kind of shit, it's real and it does happen. And I don't want nothing to do with none of that. So I sleep with my phone inside my pants, inside my underwear. I do. That's a true story. Every night.